about cultural diversity a couple of weeks ago.
Kia ora, boys. Today follows on from our recent assembly on diversity and acceptance. Apologies for not being present, as I feel it's an important topic that needs to be brought to light within our community. Culture is important. It's important to all of us. It's who we are, what we know, and what we believe. Look around you now. Have a look. These are your brothers. Why do we not embrace everyone? Why do we separate ourselves, limit our involvement, and discriminate others because of something we cannot change? I'd like to invite Chad King to speak.
반갑습니다. 제 이름은 강민혁이고요. 한국에서 온 국제학생입니다. 스피치를 시작하기 앞서 이 자리를 마련해 주신 미스터 맹간 교장 선생님과 우리 스타프 여러분께 감사 인사를 드리고 싶습니다. Kia ora koutou boys. My name is Chad King and I'm an international student from South Korea. Before I commit my speech, I'd like to thank Mr. Mengan and our staff who have been supportive and given us this great chance to talk about cultural diversity in school. Today, I'm here to tell you guys a bit of a story of myself as a student from a different country that goes to school in New Zealand, and how I ended up doing the speech in front of the whole school with the language that I'm not even that good at. Thank you, Mrs. Rob. So, this whole story starts from May of 2019, which was my first year in New Zealand. TVC is not actually my first school in New Zealand. It's a school in Palmerston North called Freiburg High School. Back then, I was full of excitement and anticipation that I couldn't wait to talk to people with the language that I was so passionate about learning and to experience new things in such a new culture. Unfortunately, it didn't last for that long. The language barrier was higher than I expected, and being included in the local community was harder than I imagined. The excitement and anticipation which motivated me to step forward soon turned into self-disappointment and fear of getting rejected by others. Of course, I looked different and spoke no English, but I also had a strong cultural identity, which is obvious since I spent way more time in Korea than I did in New Zealand. The way I was thinking, the way I was talking, the way I was behaving, the way I was eating, and everything, every small thing was similar but different to other students at school. And those differences made an invisible wall between me and local students which prevented both from approaching each other. As a result, end of my first year, I learned nothing but how to greet in several Asian languages, as people kept saying ni hao or konnichiwa every single time they walked past me. And I also gained nothing but an uncle named Kim Jong-un Soma by the end of my first year. So I was thinking, surely I can learn something more than how to say hi in other Asian languages. And surely I can gain something more than an uncle named Kim Jong-un, paying 15 grand every year just to come to school. Since then, I decided to change, and I had to change. So I started to observe those who were from different culture like me, but got along with local students well. And I figured out that they were trying to be exactly like other students at school. You see, here's an important thing. They were not like other students for sure, but they were trying to be like other students. They tried to think, they tried to talk, they tried to wear like other students at school. So I decided to do the same thing. I had to hide my cultural color and try to become a student who they call normal at school. Even though it took some time, it worked really well. I could finally build some friendship with local students and be included in the local community more. And I'll be honest with you, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed being treated like other students at school. I enjoyed being identified as a normal student at school. And that invisible wall that was blocking me and other students was gone completely, like it never existed. And I felt a sense of belonging. However, it also felt like I had two different identities, inside and outside of me. When I was inside the school, I'll be a person who preferred to eat sandwiches for lunch instead of rice or kimchi, and I'll call K-pop escape pop. You know, but when I was outside the school, I couldn't even have a single meal without kimchi. And I could dance for an hour with my friends just listening to Gangnam Style. But I love eating rice and listening to K-pop, but I had to pretend like I don't, because that was the way for me to survive from being just a quiet, mysterious Asian who's super good at math, which wasn't me again, because I wasn't good at math as well. As you could imagine, I couldn't quite handle the confusion in me by having two different identities inside and outside the school, and soon gave up trying to be like other students. And as expected, the invisible wall between me and other local students that seemed to be gone started to be built again at school. You see, my story and situation cannot speak for all the international students, but I can confidently say that students like me from different culture have been going through the same or similar struggles to mine day by day. And now I'm wondering, why can't it be changed? Why is no one trying to lower that invisible wall and make a school a place where people from different culture include and understand each other while maintaining their cultural identity? I see the needs, I see the possibilities, so why can't we? Why can't we start the change? I see the need for this change, especially for schools in New Zealand, because of the unique aspect, which is a massive diversity of culture. I mean, if you just look at TBC, the statistics show that we have 53 different ethnicities recorded. 53. That's massive, guys. This means we have 2,102 students who are from 53 different cultures. I also see the possibilities because New Zealand has already done this before. The Maori culture. In New Zealand, the Maori culture is so respected and understood by not only those from Maori culture, but by those who are not from Maori culture as well, which is amazing again. So knowing those needs and possibilities, I decided to stand up here today and talk about the change. However, we can't do it without your support. We understand your stances. Why do you want to go talk to people who don't speak English that well and have different cultural backgrounds when you're already busy talking to your mates who are fluent in English and have similar cultural backgrounds? There is no motivation or reason for you guys to bring this change at school. We do understand it, and that's exactly what we're going to do for you, giving you guys a motivation and reason to bring this change at school. But as I said, we can't do it without your support. I'm not asking you guys to feel sorry for me or any other international students. I'm asking you, I'm telling this, hoping this might help you guys understand a bit more of the circumstances of students from different culture. So maybe next time when you see them struggling to speak English, you choose to help them out instead of laughing at them. And maybe next time when you see them expressing their cultural identity, you choose to try understanding them instead of ignoring and staring at them like they're not normal. And if you bring those little changes and efforts into our school, I believe that we'll be able to give an actual impact to our whole school community. Guys, cultural differences should not separate us from each other, but rather cultural diversity brings a collective strength that can benefit our school community. And I'm really looking forward to bring the collective strength with you all together by breaking down that invisible wall existing among us. Thanks for listening.
But firstly, I want to acknowledge Chad as our international head prefect and present him with the head prefect's badge, and then ask him to introduce our next two speakers. So let's congratulate Chad, acknowledge him with the position of international head prefect.
You them saying for? Mr. Mencken, Robert, you remember Chris from Vision?
Hi, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Yes. Thank you so much for
Impressive young man. Wow. That was fantastic. I will publish that in our newsletter. It doesn't come out this Friday, but
That's it.
아이들한테 그게 영향이 간 걸 난 느꼈어.
다행이다.
그 13학년들 주저리 막 처음에 선생님들 나오면 막 지들끼리 농담도 하고 하다가 이 스피치가 나오니까 집중한 거야. 근데 쟤도 유명인 되겠는데? 학교에서.
Games and sport and things, or something
you
cultural.
look at a young man like Tane Larson, our newborn, you look at the breadth of activities that he is involved in, and that will make a difference when he is applying, as I hope he will at some stage, for global universities. So